You know how this time of the year everybody's talking about autumn and like fall and oh my gosh, spooky season. It goes so well, with fall and everything. But this is my fall, guys. This is my autumn. Like this is not giving spooky season at all, is it? Like the sun is so strong. Like hello. Also, hot. It's warm all the time. So, I live vicariously through people on the internet who live in countries or places where they actually get to experience, you know, uh, autumn like we see in the movies and everything, because that's not the experience you get when you live in a country like Brazil, especially when you live in one of the hottest places of said country. So, yeah, just wanted to say that. So, hello everyone. Welcome back or welcome to my channel. My name is Andy and here I talk or I ramble about books and language learning. So, if that's something you're interested in, please feel free to subscribe and stay around and hang around. I would love to have you here. Well, as you can see by the title, today we are talking about Stephen King. All right, so I have a series on my channel that I started 2 years ago now. It's been a while. And basically, what I intend to do in this series is to read Stephen King's fiction stories, his fiction work. I have a list that I made when I started about 2 years ago. I'll leave a screenshot here somewhere, but it's a long list. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I have to go back to it and update it because I think there have been more releases since I made this list. So, but I do know that there are more than 100 stories, books, either novels or short stories. So I have a lot of work to do. However, if you go to my playlist that I have on my channel, that I made for this series, which I have called King's Corner, as I am a sucker for an alliteration. But if you go there, you'll see that I don't have many videos because it's been a while since I last made any video in the series, and that's my fault. I have read more Stephen King since my last video. I think the last one I made was about the Death Zone, if I'm not mistaken. But I have read other stories like Four Seasons, the short stories collections. I've read Billy Summers. I've read Blaze, I think. It's, I think, a lesser known story, perhaps. I found it on Kindle and I just read it on a whim. I think it was last year. So I have made some progress. But like I mentioned before, there are more than 100 titles in there. So I think I need to, be better at it. So we are in October, almost end of October. It's the 23rd today when I'm filming this video. And I realized, I was thinking about, oh, I want to make a video about, spooky season, reading some books or something like that. Last year, I think I made a TBR video and a video about Brazilian folklore, which was really fun to research for and make it. But this year I was blanking on any ideas. I was like, I don't want to make another TBR. I don't know what to do. I don't know. So then it dawned on me that it's literally October and I haven't read a single Stephen King book this year. So I thought, hey, that's perfect. That's what we're doing. And we are reading finally, The Shining. So that's what we are going to talk about today. So first things first, I want to start with expectations. So obviously, The Shining, it's a very known story by Mr. Stephen King. I know the adaptation, it's very known as well. And that's basically what I knew about the story before reading it. I have watched the movie a long time ago though, and I don't remember much. I didn't remember much of the details. I only remember, here's the expectations part, right? I only remember that I thought it was quite slow, like slow paced. And sometimes I have a hard time with slow paced stories. So I was thinking about that when I picked up the book to read. And I thought, oh, maybe this will be slower, the pacing and everything, and it is like 400 and something pages. So I thought, maybe this will take me like the whole month to read. Boy, was I wrong. I was so wrong. I don't know what the consensus is out there when it comes to the pacing of the book. I did not think it was slow at all. I think it was perfect. I loved it. I actually read the book in like 3 days, I think 3 or 4 days, which for me, it's a feat, okay? Because a 400 something pages book, it would take me like 2 weeks to read maybe or something, because I am more of a slower reader. But this one took me by surprise. I was pleasantly surprised by the pacing of it. I got immersed in the story so much. I would read it and then I would have to put it down because, you know, I have work and other stuff to do, and I couldn't wait to come back to it and pick it up again and continue the story. And it had been a while since I had that feeling with a book, so I really liked it. Safe to say that I did rate it quite high. I'll talk about that in a minute. So yeah, so expectations were not met in that sense, because I did think it would be more of a slower paced story, and it wasn't, at least in my opinion. I think the pacing was perfect. Now, another thing that I really liked in this book was the alternating POVs. So that was really nice because we get to see things from different perspectives from the same like situation, you know, what Jack thinks, and then what Wendy thinks, and then what sweet little Denny thinks of everything. I wanted to put him in my pocket. I wanted to protect him. But yeah, but I really liked that. I do think my favorite POV to read was probably Denny's, and then Wendy's. Jack, all of the POVs were really well written. I liked it, and that ties into what I want to talk about next, which is the character building in the story that I really liked. But I think I was the most frustrated when I was reading his point of view. And if you have read the story, if you know the story, I think I don't have to explain why, you know, with some of his more violent thoughts that he has regarding the people around him. But I think it was really fun. I think it helped the pace of the book so much. Going back to that, having the POVs, the different POVs. I know some people sometimes like they don't like that. I honestly don't mind as long as it's not too confusing or too many people. Here we had 3. I think that was a perfect amount. And if it's well done, which I do think that it was in this case. So that was very nice. Now the character building, what I was talking about, it ties into the POVs because, like I said, I think it helped us to see more of these characters and what they think. Actually, I just remember we also have, technically we have 4, right? We have Jack, Wendy, Denny, and Mr. Oh, I forgot his name. Holman? I don't remember. I'll put it on the screen. I'm so sorry because he's such a great character. But his is like less, but still, just a detail. And I think that helped a lot to understand more of the characters, to see how they think and how they deal with with certain situations differently, where their mindsets were at, when certain things were happening. I think with Jack, it was really good for us to understand his addiction, to understand his aspirations when it came to, his writing. And again, I should do a bingo of every Stephen King's book that I read that he has a character that is a writer in some way, because we have it here again with Jack. So that was really nice, even if some parts were kind of hard to read because of his, not hard to read, it's just like, the thoughts that he has sometimes and the language that he uses, especially when he talks about his wife. It's a little, you're reading and you're like, oh my god. But again, it's part of his character, it's part of what's going on there. I like that we got some background with his family and, that rage of his that he has inside, and it makes sense considering some things, that happened. Yeah, so I really think it was really well written in that way. Same thing with Wendy. I think I don't remember in the movie getting so much of her. I remember getting a lot of Jack, which, it's a bit harder, I guess, to do that in a movie, although you have certain ways that you can do that. But I remember after reading the book, I was like, wow, we got so much of her, and I don't remember getting that in the movie. I really don't. Maybe I'm wrong, because like I said, it's been years since I've seen it. I actually wanted to watch it again. Maybe I will. We still have some time until Halloween, until the end of the month, just so I could see if my thoughts were different now that I know the story through the book. But I loved her point of view. I felt so much for her. I think one of the things we see there, it's like their marriage and wanting to, work things out. And we see that in Jack's point of view as well. But here, I think what really made me feel for her, it wasn't just that, but also her point of view as a mom. She loves Danny so much and she wants the best for him. And sometimes she's in this conflict when it comes to Danny and Jack and like marriage, but then my son, and he's the priority, but I also want to save this. I also still have hope that this could work. But then, we all get isolated in this the middle of nowhere in this haunted hotel. So, it's difficult. Her relationship with Danny to me was so nice because it isn't perfect, and it never is, but she cared so much for him, and she tried so hard to understand him, I think, but also to give him the best that she could, because she also had her history, her background, which I thought it was really cool because we had that with Jack, and then how these, their backgrounds of these two parents reflect on their relationship to their kid, for good or bad. But yeah, I really liked that. And then we get to my sweet child, Danny. I felt so much for him. I cannot believe that he was 5 years old. I'm like, no 5-year-olds like this. But oh my gosh, I was so happy whenever I turned a page and it was his point of view. Yeah, he goes through so much, and I felt so much for him as well. I felt so bad. I wanted to put him in my pocket, like I said. And the interesting thing here is that my original idea here was to read The Shining and Doctor Sleep together, because I know in Doctor Sleep we get Danny when he grows up. And I was concerned as to what we were gonna get, because trauma and what happened to this kid once he became a man. But you know, I think I'm currently like, I'm not even 100 pages in Doctor Sleep yet, and like I mentioned, it's almost the end of the month. So I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna make one video about one book, and that's okay. I mean, it is The Shining. I think it deserves a video by itself. But I just want to mention that I have started Doctor Sleep, and I am mildly concerned. I do not want Sweet Denny to become a Jack 2.0. Things are a bit rough right now. Like I said, I'm not even 100 pages in. I hope they get better, but then I remember that this is a Stephen King book, and I shouldn't really always hope for, oh my gosh, a happy ending, and yes, everything's gonna be okay. I can still hope. Okay, I can still hope. I don't want to make this video too long, but another thing that I do want to mention here is that, and I've talked about this before, and I feel like it will be a common thing when I talk about Stephen King's writing, is that I really appreciate the way he writes people. You know, I think when we think of Stephen King, we think of horror, supernatural, you know, haunted killer cars and haunted alien. I don't really remember what he is. Killer clown, you know, these very like out there creatures, and you know, exaggerated or whatever, which I love. Obviously, we love it. But what really made me want to read more of him and even start this whole thing here with this series is the way he writes people. You know, I think even in his, and I've noticed this in some of his short stories, even in his more like outlandish type of stories where it's almost like comical, some of the things that he makes, like haunted or something, the way he writes the human part of it, people's personalities, their desires, their fears, their flaws. I think he touches on people's flaws a lot, but it's not, some of stories maybe, but it's not always in like oh my gosh, humanity sucks, we're doomed. We have those moments, but we also have some other moments where you can see some heart and some good things as well. And I just really love the way he writes humanity, how he writes people. I just really like it. And in this book specifically, as much as we have the supernatural part of it, the atmosphere of the whole book was so nice. You know, I was just imagining being in that place, isolated with ice around you and the cold. Everything was very well built, like the whole atmosphere of it. But I think what made me love this book, because I did love it, spoiler alert, as if you couldn't tell, was this family. It was how he wrote them as individuals, but also how they relate to each other, their relationship, their hopes, their fears, their flaws, you know. And I really liked that, and that made me give 4.5 stars for this book, which is a really high rating for me. Yeah. So this is definitely out there for me with The Death Zone, which is still my favorite Stephen King book so far, Misery, which is a really good one too, and now The Shining. I will continue to read Doctor Sleep, and I'll see how that story goes, and hopefully it will not take me another year to make a new video updating this series. And yes, if you liked this video, please give it a like. It helps a lot the channel. And obviously my next read will be Doctor Sleep, and after that, I don't know, I'll see where I go with Stephen King then. But this was a very good experience. And yeah, if you want to share any of your thoughts about the book, whether you like it, you hate it, you love it, please let me know. I would love to read it in the comments. And yeah, happy spooky season. And I hope to see you guys soon. I really do. All right. Bye bye.